setting out the blueprint on the ground. Before a single shovel hits the dirt, we have to translate the architectural drawings into the real world. This is setting out. Accuracy. Here is everything. Even a 2-inch mistake now can cause massive structural issues later. We use the 3-4-5 rule, or a total station, to ensure every corner is perfectly square. These white lime lines act as the guide for the excavator operator. We're marking the outer limits of the foundation trenches. Consistency is key. Once these lines are set and the client approves the orientation, we're ready to bring in the heavy machinery. Excavation. Now for the heavy machinery. With the lines marked, the excavator moves in to begin the trenching. We're digging down to the load-bearing strata basically, the solid soil that is strong enough to hold the weight of the building. You'll notice how clean the trench walls are. The operator has to be precise to avoid over-digging, which wastes concrete, or under-digging, which compromises the foundation's strength. During this stage, we're also keeping a close eye on the depth. We use a laser level to ensure the bottom of the trench is perfectly flat and hits the exact elevation required by the engineers. Safety is also a priority here. We ensure the soil is stable so the trench walls don't collapse while we work. Lean concrete and blinding. Once the trench is at the right depth and cleaned of any loose debris, it's time for the lean concrete, also known as the blinding layer. This isn't the structural foundation, yet it's the preparation for it. We pour a thin layer, usually around 2 to 4 inches of low-strength concrete. This serves 3 main purposes. It creates a level, clean working surface for the steel reinforcement. It prevents the structural concrete from mixing with the soil. It protects the soil at the bottom of the trench from rain or moisture damage. By the time this cures, we'll have a rock-solid, level base. From here, we can accurately place our rebar and prepare for the main structural pour. It's all about building a foundation on top of a foundation. Introduction to ground beams. Welcome back to our foundation series. Today, we're focusing on a critical structural element, the ground beam. Unlike typical footings, ground beams are reinforced concrete beams, designed to span between pad foundations or piles. They act as a bridge, ensuring that the weight of the entire superstructure, your walls and columns, is distributed evenly across the soil. This is especially vital in areas with weak or expansive soil, as it prevents differential settlement, which is the leading cause of structural cracks. Essentially, the ground beam creates a rigid, stable ring for your building to sit on. Preparation and reinforcement. Before we build the mold, we have to prepare the base. Once the excavation reaches the correct depth, a layer of lean concrete, or blinding, is poured to provide a level, clean working surface. Now, let's talk steel. Reinforcement is what gives the beam its tensile and shear strength. Main bars. These run horizontally through the beam to handle bending forces. Stirrups links. These vertical loops hold the main bars in place and resist shear stress. It is crucial to use concrete spacers cover blocks to ensure the steel is surrounded by at least 25 mm to 50 mm of concrete on all sides to prevent future corrosion. Part 3. Formwork installation. Now for the formwork, the temporary mold that shapes the wet concrete. Whether you're using job-built timber or prefabricated modular panels, the process follows these critical steps. Marking. Use string lines to ensure the forms are perfectly straight. Timber boards, typically 2x2 or 4x for supports, are nailed or bolted together to create the side walls of the beam. The pressure of wet concrete is immense. You must use external, bracing timber kickers or metal props to prevent the forms from bulging or blowing out. Before pouring, we coat the inside of the forms with oil or a release agent. This ensures that when we strip the forms later, they don't stick to the fresh concrete. The pour and quality control. With the rebar inspected and the formwork secured, it's time for the pour. We typically use a 1-2-4 or 1-3-6 mix, designed depending on the structural requirements. As the concrete flows in, we use a mechanical vibrator to eliminate air pockets and ensure the mix reaches every corner of the formwork. The top surface is screeded and finished to the exact Finish floor level, or FEL. The forms stay on for at least 24 to 48 hours. After stripping them, we keep the concrete moist for several days to allow it to reach its full design strength. Follow these steps, and you'll have a foundation built to last a lifetime. Part 1. Rebarring and column starters. Now that our trenches are prepped, we move into the heavy lifting, rebarring. The ground beam acts as a continuous support system for the walls above. We are using high tensile steel bars, ensuring the cage is uniform across the entire perimeter. You can see the precision required. Every intersection is secured with binding wire to prevent movement during the pour. Notice the vertical starter bars for the columns. These must be perfectly plumb and tied into the beams core to ensure the load from the roof travels straight down into the foundation. Pouring the grade beams. It's time for the pour. We use a structural grade concrete mix, typically C25 or C30. As the concrete is discharged, we must work in layers. The key here is the mechanical vibrator. It removes trapped air pockets that could weaken the beam. You can see the worker monitoring the flow to ensure the concrete completely encases the steel. Once the concrete is poured, we level the top surface to the exact finish floor level, FEL. After 24 hours, the formwork is stripped, revealing the solid concrete skeleton you see here. This creates the rigid grid that will now be filled to support our floor. Backfilling and compaction. With the beams cured, we have empty pockets between the foundation walls. This is where backfilling comes in. We use the excavated soil or imported hard core to fill these voids. A mini excavator is ideal here for maneuvering in tight spaces without damaging the fresh concrete. The secret to a floor that doesn't crack is compaction. We fill in layers, usually 150 millimeters to 200 millimeters at a time, and use a plate compactor rammer on each layer. If the soil isn't packed tight, the slab will eventually sink, leading to hollow spots under your tiles. Vapor barrier and slab meshing. Before the final floor pour, we lay down a heavy-duty damp-proof membrane DPM or plastic sheet. This prevents moisture from the ground from seeping up through the concrete. On top of that, we lay our steel mesh Burke mesh. This mesh controls shrinkage and prevents the floor from cracking. Under heavy furniture or foot traffic, we use chairs or spacers to lift the mesh so it sits in the middle of the concrete slab, not on the bottom. Now, the site is transformed from a muddy pit into a clean, reinforced platform ready for the final floor pour. The foundation is complete, and the building is finally ready to go vertical.